Welcome to the Date Forever podcast. Keep your relationship fueled up with strategies discovered by couples and experts. Because at Fuel Collective, we believe better relationships will equal a better world. You are about to discover specific insights and tools that cost little or nothing to implement to help you date forever. And now, here are your hosts, a couple who always have a half-packed suitcase and a date night in the calendar, Sammy and Nathan Yeager.
Hello and welcome to Date Forever. In this week's episode, we're chatting about the role of fun, play and laughter in our relationship, how the stories we tell ourselves impact our lives, and managing the give and take of energy and human interactions. But before we dive into that, Sammy, what's been fueling you up this week?
This past week I was travelling for work.
You were, weren't you?
Yeah, but then I also bolted on a weekend of leisure. Yeah, so I had a couple of nights away from home, which was amazing. The work trip went really well, but also I got some extended one-on-one time with one of my besties in the whole world, which was amazing. So that's feeling very, very filled up. Because the work trip was very career focused, it's brought some really good alignment for what I need to focus on for the rest of the year. So I'm feeling really focused and on purpose for the next little bit. And, you know, we're already in September, so we're on the home stretch for 2022, which feels wild, but that's definitely fueled me up because it set some intention. What about you, Nath? What fueled you up? Probably just your raging introvert time, right?
Yeah, that definitely did fuel me up, but some of my extrovert time fueled me up as well, and some of the significance, I guess, that I got from winning an award at footy.
So fancy. What'd you win?
So I won Most Improved Player for the senior team. So yeah, it was really nice to be recognised for the effort that I've put in over the year and for the improvement that I've made.
Well done, babe.
Thanks. Yeah. I had a bit of a sport-focused weekend, actually. I watched a couple of really good footy matches and then had my footy presentations as well, which was really nice. And then even watched a replay of the Formula One Grand Prix too. So, I had a nice sport-focused weekend by myself with a bit of my introvert time. But now here's this week's guests.
Today we have Troy and Zara Love joining us. They are authors, speakers, transformational communication and performance coaches, and multi-award-winning entertainers. They've appeared in front of a collective audience of over 10 million with more than 10,000 live, radio and screen appearances. So Richard Branson once described them as rockstars of conferencing, and the work has seen them getting up close and personal with big names including Chris Rock, Destiny's Child, Heath Ledger and Toby Maguire. They have the ability to engage and inspire any audience every time and are on a mission to create happier people, happier customers and a happier world. Welcome to the show, you two.
Hey, thanks. I was thinking, what a great intro.
Me too.
Copy that and put it on our website.
Yeah.
Who are these amazing people? Yeah.
That's great.
On that, Heath Ledger is one of my childhood crushes. Stole a piece of my heart. So I'm very jealous that you had the opportunity to interact with him.
Well, actually, I didn't meet him face to face. It was when we were doing breakfast radio, and he was going out with Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he was a Perth boy, and we were on air in Perth at the time, and he didn't want to do the interview. He was in a bad mood.
Yes. And what happens traditionally with these big, radio network shows is that you're in a list of 20 people.
Yeah.
So, and Perth, being Perth, was always last. So, 19 probably interviews before us and got asked the same questions over and over. But Zara was really good at turning that around.
Well, I love him too, and I knew that, Australia loves him, and he was kind of flipping a book, and I said,
"That's right.
Am I boring you? What are you doing right now?" And he said, "No, I'm boring myself." And I said, "Well, why don't we talk about what you want to talk about?" And they had allocated us 5 minutes to talk to him. That's it. Yeah. And he ended up staying on the line for almost an hour.
Wow.
Everything.
Yeah.
We talked about the government. We talked about love. He went right at the government of the day.
Yes, he did, about Afghanistan and Iraq. Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Of course, none of that made it to air, being commercial radio. But
still a good conversation.
And he was beautiful, He was exactly the person that you would expect him to be. And even though all that Hollywood stuff weighed heavily on his shoulders, he was a true artist. All he wanted to do was create love and great creative projects and bring all of his friends and family together.
So what that bio didn't say is that you're actually like in a romantic relationship as well, right? You're not just business partners.
Hang on. Is it romantic then?
I think it definitely started that way.
Right. What are you playing? Uh-oh. This went south real quick.
Well,
yeah. Cut the interview. Yeah.
you do choose. I think with a marriage, you choose each other every day. You have to choose each other every day. We spend 24 hours a day together and have done for 30 years more probably.
Yeah, it's our 31st year together this year in November.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
And we love it. We love it. It's not always easy. Troy's much easier to live with than I am, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I have my problems too.
Yeah, but we, if one of us walks out the door, even to go to the shops, if we're away for a short amount of time, we're texting each other.
Yeah.
And
hey, you've been gone 5 minutes. What are you doing?
Yeah.
We discussed this. I've gone to the shop.
Yeah, he's the person I want to tell the stuff to, but he's beside me every day, which is pretty cool. You can probably relate.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. I really love that.
So take us back though, 30-something years ago. When did you first meet? How did your relationship start?
Well, Zara's family had a comedy club in Brisbane that ran for a bunch of years, and I was working there. It was my college job as a waiter. I started on the floor there. I went there because I was at acting college and my mum was at acting college, and she said, one of our graduates has started this theatre restaurant where you can be a waiter and you can be in character. And I went, that is so good. So I went there, and then I ended up becoming the night manager at that venue and working in the cast. And Zara was an actor working in Sydney at that time and had come back to join the show. So we ended up as castmates in the show.
Yeah, and he was just beautiful. What's amazing about that place was a space of just pure creativity.
So you started as like colleagues and kind of like a showmance.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that early stage of your relationship.
Well, I think it surprised everyone at the venue, and it surprised us, to be honest, because it kind of came out of nowhere. We were good friends for a couple of months, I think. I can't really remember this because it is a while back now.
I was getting over a girl.
Oh, that is...
Oh, yeah.
Getting over a girl, and I was just offering friendly advice.
You were, actually. Most helpful. Because I was pretty depressed at the time, I think.
Yes. Troy often calls me a helpaholic. I like to help people who don't want or ask for my help. I feel like they need it the most. But he was getting over her, and then somehow, I don't know what happened. I was over at his place and we were just friends, and something just changed. Something just clicked.
I know what happened. I was showing you how to fold underwear correctly. Now, notice that.
Correctly.
Inverted commas.
Yes, that's a lot about Troy.
And Zara went, what do you mean fold underwear? She'd never heard of this.
So he's got, now do you? Do either of you fold?
We don't fold. No, it goes in a big bucket.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're on my side.
Why would you fold it? It's so tiny.
It says a lot about Troy's brain. He's very ordered. He's focused. Everything's got a place. Like, he's taught me order, which means that life is much easier because you always know where your keys are.
And like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you should always know where your towel is.
But when we got together, we moved in together that first night. Our dinner party joke is always, some guys play hard to get, I play hard to get rid of.
It's still here.
It's true. It's true. So we hit really strong very early.
Yeah.
And then I almost instantly had to go away twice, didn't I, Troy?
The first year that we were married, Zara was on tour for 7 months, which was quite a long time and quite challenging, I think, for the relationship because we really missed each other in that time. So I spent a bit of time traveling, diving up to Queensland or WA or Tasmania to try and catch the tour.
Or Thailand. So
Thailand too.
We were first together. I was asked to go and join a band. So I left our comedy club and went with a friend to Thailand to be in this band for a few months. So then Troy came over for a holiday. We went to one of the islands, Koh Samui.
Yes.
And that's where we got, it's where you proposed.
I proposed.
Of sorts.
I don't know what I proposed, but I proposed something.
You're still together, 30 years later or
must have been a good deal.
Yeah.
You made a good offer.
Yeah, it must have been a good offer.
Gave me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Or understand.
So talk to us a little bit about working together, living together, playing together, traveling together, all of those things. So you both are working in the same field, coaching, entertaining, engaging, trying to create a happier world, happier people. Tell us a little bit about what you actually do.
Yeah, sure. So
what do we do, Zara?
Well, we started out, and in fact, part of that intro that you just read, I think was created, its origin was when we first stepped out of breakfast radio. And it was a challenging environment for us when we were working in that particular job. So it didn't suit us. Well, we loved the job. We kind of went from last place to number one over a period of time, which was hard fought.
Yes.
So we loved that part. We loved talking to our audience and opening up doors and having people feel like they were part of this bigger, beautiful community that could be honest with each other and support each other and have a laugh.
And we did a lot of charity work in that, which we've continued on to this day. And that's very fulfilling and great, you know, that you can actually have an impact directly in your community.
Exactly. So, and we got to meet all those celebrities and it was incredible. And we were earning a fortune. Like you'd have to go, so what's the downside?
Yeah, subjectively, it was all great.
Yeah. The
Downside, I suggest breakfast radio. You probably weren't all that social outside of those hours, right?
Oh, there's that.
It's hard hours.
There's definitely that. You're up at 3:30 in the morning and you want to go to bed at 7 p.m, but you often can't because you might go to a listener party or you might be promoting something. But yeah, you're living the life of a 5-year-old.
Yes.
But also at the time, and I think this has changed dramatically at the time, the culture was quite toxic. It just was. It was a difficult environment. We had 8 leaders in our little space in 4 years that we were there. So every new leader kind of wanted to come in and go, right,
I'm going to fix it.
yeah, I'm going to change this. And we were like, you know what? It's working pretty well. And if you're kind of positive with us and work with us, it could be a great environment. But at the same time, and I don't want to put all the blame on them, we didn't have the skills to be able to respond more intelligently or not to get overwhelmed or not to take it home with us.
Yeah.
Each night too, you know, there were times when we would sit in the car.
And just cry, really.
Yeah, and just cry before going into our job that we loved, entertaining people and putting a light in this community, but we were really miserable. And so we started to go, gosh, if people like us can lose their sense of humour, people that have
worked in that industry for a long time too.
Then there must be other people that just aren't coping, that just aren't, maybe they're leaving at the end of the day feeling much worse than when they arrived. And we think it should be the opposite. We think, you know, work should fuel you and give you energy and light you up because of the relationships.
If you're doing the right thing in the right way.
Yeah, that's right. And so we started to investigate good humour as a concept to share with people, something that was intrinsic to us and natural to us when we noticed that it could go, which I just didn't know.
No.
I didn't know that you could wake up one day and feel a bit sad. You could feel miserable. And I don't think that's because I had never been sad. I think it's because I'd never acknowledged my sadness. You know, I think that it was in there like a lot of people, but you know, as performers too, our job is not about us necessarily. It's about making it wonderful for you.
And giving that out, you know. So you also have to be careful, I think, of that, because for performers, you can get stuck in that trap of all I do and my entire validation comes from what I give out.
That's right.
And you've got to be really careful and mindful of that and make sure that you take energy as well in the right way at the right time for you.
I remember John Travolta saying, because he does like 300 selfies with people a day, he's gone through massive
trauma
and loss in his life, like just so overwhelming. The 3 women in his life that he's loved more than anything
have all died of cancer.
All died of breast cancer too, I think. I think it's incredible. But he's a beautiful human being, and he was asked how he
manages that energy that comes at him all the time, you know, especially being famous and being Hollywood.
That's right. And he said, you know what? I give my energy to them, but I make sure I take the energy from them also.
That excitement, that joy.
It's a loop. I don't feel depleted at the end of it. I feel lit up as a result of it. But that's perspective, right? You've got to have your feet firmly on the ground to be able to interpret that level of madness around you and still be able to give and be who you are.
Yeah, not be grumpy.
So we didn't have those skills. We started a business. We left radio and we started a business called Humour Australia, and we thought we would take over the world with good humour and just remind people that it's a superpower, that it's intrinsic, that if you don't use it, you lose it.
And Australians are naturally very good at it.
That's right.
And it kind of got us interested in psychology and how people think and why they think, and the fact that most of the time they're not even really aware that they're thinking.
No, that's right. Yeah. You know, I'm just on a journey right now of how is my thinking affecting my body? You know, that feels like a newborn coming into the world. I feel like I should have known that a long time ago. That, this level of thinking or that level of thinking, good or bad, has a really different impact in my body. And so I'm carrying pains that aren't just, you know, that are frustrations intellectually and then storing it in a shoulder or a back or so how do you kind of integrate so that you're a whole human that can keep functioning? So we did Humour Australia for a while and then we moved on to
Great Talk,
which
is sort of what we are today, and that obviously we spent a good couple of decades working with corporate clients and traveling together, which was awesome. You know, going into Asia and the US and doing lots of gigs all around Australia. So you get to go to all these cool venues, and really you just paid to crash other people's parties.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's good, yeah.
So we coach professional speakers, anyone that's kind of on the circuit with an amazing story, Olympians, politicians, anyone that's kind of got something remarkable and wants
Commandos, fighter pilots, all sorts of it.
Cool. We coach them and we kind of craft up their story so they're able to rock the stage and engage their audiences. And we do workshops for executives and thought leaders around storytelling. So how to kind of identify, shape and share really captivating stories that make people kind of want to wake up and do something different in their lives.
I think there's the two big things of late in the work side is the psychology, the positive psychology, just having a real interest in that and learning a lot more about that. But since then, also the storytelling side is just really fascinating, and there's always something new to learn in both of those realms. So they probably give us the most energy as those two areas.
And they're related, right?
Yes,
so happiness and storytelling, all happiness and success in life comes down to storytelling. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, the stories we tell ourselves and the stories we share with others.
Or choose to share with others.
Yeah, so it's kind of how we have to confront the logic of our thinking and our own stories sometimes to go, do I like that? Don't I like that? Is this me? What do I really need here? What do I really need to say here? All of that. Or maybe I've got more capabilities than I know. And then the other side, shaping stories that strategic is too strong a word. It's not strategic. It's just being mindful, I think, of the right story in the right environment for the right audience.
Has a positive impact.
Yeah, like sometimes it's just because you want to help someone and you want to save their life, right? That's what a story does. Sometimes it's because you've got a beautiful product and you want to get it out there and sell it. Sometimes the stories you need are to unite a team internally so they remember who they are and why they're doing this, you know, and those stories, if you don't keep them in check, can get out of control.
Yeah, that's what I love about communication in general and storytelling is that you have a chance to do it every day. So, you know, there's some sports or specialties you don't get to practice every day, but talking to people is something that most of us do every single day. So you've always got a chance to improve, tweak, look back at and go, did I not handle that as well as I could have? What could I do next time? We even had a conversation like that last night. Going, something didn't go as well as we'd hoped. And let's not do that again.
That was
Yeah, that's it. I think that internal storytelling has been one of the biggest lessons that I've kind of learned over kind of my last 5 years or so in my personal development journey is that, yeah, like everything that you're thinking is really a story that you've told yourself. And it is just a story. Like often it isn't actually truth or reality or anything like that. It's just a story that you keep running in your own head and you find evidence to back up that story and things like that. And really, like, yeah, if you can change the narrative around that and change the way that you're thinking about this thing, then you can really change your mindset and change your life.
100%.
Yeah, and everyone can change that story. You have the opportunity to rewrite that story every day.
Yeah, and it's you've got to use your emotions as your barometer a little bit because a lot of the time you don't notice that thinking. You find yourself in a contorted position, maybe while you're brushing your teeth, vaguing out about something you're worrying about, and then notice your body at the same time and go, oh my, it's
mental and physical effects.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's in me. So I need to then, okay, relax. What was I thinking? Come back to now, become present. And again, question those stories because some of them are just, in fact, all of them are wrong. It's all arbitrary.
It's all made up.
It's all made up. It's all an interpretation. All of it.
Yeah.
You know, we call it a computer. Is it a computer? I don't know. Is there a different name for it?
And if you go back far enough, even in technology terms, this was thought of by someone. So this came from a story. Any invention has come from a story. It's come from iteration first. Thought becomes things. So that's why you got to pick good thoughts.
And we only believe often what we can see. But I mean, I'm sitting at a desk that I know feels hard, but I'm sure the science would tell me there's a lot of moving particles and there's a lot going on the inside that my limited eyes can't see. So we've got to stay open
to new possibilities,
to new stories, to other people's stories. And you know, the beautiful thing about storytelling is the minute someone shares something with you, and we all have experiences where we just don't click with people, right? Where for some reason they just, you know, they get on our goat.
That's not my person.
Yeah. You often know straight away, right? You feel it. Yeah.
But you can be wrong. You can be wrong. And I find that if you are brave enough to step over your own bias and ask a deeper question of that person and then be courageous enough to listen to the answer without prejudice, there's a good chance that just by understanding them a little bit more, you learn to like them a little bit more also. So I learned really early, probably through radio, that my job was to shut up and listen. You know, my job everywhere we went, and sometimes, certainly not like John Travolta, but in Perth at the time, you could go out and be surrounded by a lot of people everywhere. You wanted to go, you're the people from the radio. You know, and that was freaky, like just freaky to me. We didn't like it. We would often drive around the streets on the weekends and just, you know, look at houses and point at people and enjoy each other's company and listen to music because we didn't want to get out and be on all the time. But I had to flip that because that's wrong. That's not the right thinking either. So I had to flip that and go, what happens if I shop wherever I am? I don't make it about me. I make it about them instantly. So you kind of were able to dampen the enthusiasm, not that you want to in life. And trust me, no one's screaming outside our door right now. But if you had some of that energy, I knew instinctively I just had to make it about them, ask about their life story. And then a light bulb would go off and suddenly I was talking to just another human being.
Yes.
And having a great conversation.
It became more of an equal footing.
Yeah.
So to bring some of this back to relationships and your relationship, you've talked a lot about like the idea of quality communication and engagement and fun and play and not being too serious. I'd love to know, like, how have you applied some of those things in your own relationship? Like, we hear so often that kind of catchphrase, like, communication is key. The fundamental to a great relationship is communication. But like, what does that mean? Like, I don't think anybody really thinks that they're a bad communicator. Like, what does great communication look like? And what are some of the things that you've learned, I guess, in your personal relationship with one another?
Yeah. Well, I think too, the other thing is no matter how long you spend, even if you're really invested in understanding, oh, how can I be a better communicator? It doesn't mean you're going to get it right. You still get it wrong all the time. We're 31 years into this relationship and we still have misses with each other, but we're willing to go, hey, that's not what I meant, or hey, can we just talk about this, debrief it? Can we just go back on that and try and, you know, see where it all went wrong?
Sometimes our stresses mainly are often around work because we really do give a lot to our clients, and if they need support in between workshops or sessions, and because we're playing with people's stories, we really take that seriously. So if they need support in between, they get it every time. And we're running multiple programs a lot of the time, so we're scrambling. And we really need to learn how to automate just quietly. But
you guys are really good at that, by the way.
Yeah. It's because I'm inherently lazy. I want to build once and then work it forever. I like a shortcut.
Yeah, we keep reiterating and then not using the tool that we built. So for the
let's have a chat. I'll see if I can help you.
For the listeners, having Nathan's setup for this podcast is awesome. It's just click through, automate, does everything you need to do.
We'll do that for us, Troy.
I agree. So shout out to you guys because you're very organised on that.
I think you could talk about, okay, do you do date night? Do you have a time where you communicate each day? And I think all of those little touchstones that remind you to care for the person in front of you are all worthwhile. Whatever works for you works for you. But I think caring actually is the foundation. I think that it works for us because I know he loves me and he cares about my well-being and my happiness. And I think that Troy would know that I fiercely protect him in any circumstance and that his well-being is the most important thing. And even to the point, I don't know if I should say this out loud, but even to the point that, you know, if he got to a point where he went, I need to be happier elsewhere, I would have to support that because I love him so much that I would only want what he wants. Yeah, as devastating as that would be. And don't you ever.
No. Well, not there yet. I actually think that's a really brave.
Did you get that?
Not there yet. I think it's a really brave thing to be able to say is, and I feel the same way, that if you came to me and said, I'm not happy in this and it can't be anymore, that would be devastating. But I would have to go, you know what's right for you, you know, and we respect each other enough to go, well, that would be the case.
And we do talk a lot. So Troy and I try and do 2 walks a day when we're being very good. When we're not and we're working a lot, we do 1. But we always listen to a podcast for at least one of those walks together. So we kind of time it at the same time so we can look back and laugh at the same places and go, ooh, isn't that interesting?
Tara's always ahead of me, so you'll see you turn around and go,
ooh. I think we're very, very weird. But the other walk, I think we talk the whole time. You know, we go through moments of presence and silence and going through affirmations as we walk too. So we kind of try and bring in a little bit of
positivity by choice.
Yeah, conscious thinking and how we want to be because we know we're better when we do that. the other half of the walk is we just talk, and we talk to the bunnies. Like our little path has ducks and swans and bunnies.
Rabbits
like,
and, yeah.
We're clearly getting to the age where you're enjoying the
Nature.
flora and the fauna.
No.
But COVID did that. Like we've always been kitty lovers.
Yeah.
Like obsessed with cats.
Yes, we've got 2 Maine Coon cats and we love them very much.
That's right. But during COVID, we started increasing our walks, and we fell in love with all of the dogs of the area. And then we discovered that there's bunnies everywhere we walk. So we just feel like we're walking in a wonderland.
Side note on relationships, and I don't know whether you guys think this fits in or not, but sudden shift in the way we feel about dogs has been really interesting because it's been a conscious effort over the last 3 years, probably since COVID and doing lots more walks. And we've consciously changed the way we respond to dogs. And interestingly, dogs have changed the way they respond to us. So we've had so many owners now go, oh, he never does this.
Yeah, I've never seen that dog do that.
Like dozens and dozens of owners go, this dog never does that.
Now, that's a non-verbal story, right? That's we just unconsciously or subconsciously made a decision that dogs were cool and that we all of a sudden love them. And I'm into a point that any dog in my vicinity, I lose my mind now.
That's me.
Yeah.
But I've always been like that.
Yeah.
And I get that response. Like I went to the cafe this morning and there was a guy standing out front waiting for his takeaway with his beautiful glossy black Staffy. And the Staffy didn't even see me coming, must have heard me and my energy coming and whipped around and was like, oh my God, she's here. Like I've never met this dog before, but like that's the energetic response. And I get that from most dogs most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, but I put that out too.
Yeah,
and they don't even, sometimes they, like you say, they don't see you.
No,
Yeah.
We can have dogs run from the other side of an oval. It's so odd. Come directly to us and then flip their backs, which is my favourite position for any.
Belly scratchers.
And I just feel so blessed. But on that too, you did change your story. Troy used to hate barking dogs in built-up areas. So he
I'm very sensitive auditorily, if that's a word. I have tinnitus in one ear, and which was an old work injury. And because of that, I'm very sensitive to sound.
Very sensitive. Like he will hear a plane as it's decelerating at whatever angle.
I can normally tell you which runway it's coming into in Melbourne and what's
So we've got a dog here that's a guard dog near us, and you know we've all walked past a lot and gone, "Are you okay?" And he's vicious. He seems vicious. His dog, anyway.
He's about 70 metres from a balcony. You probably could hear him in the background of this podcast.
And just barks incessantly. And Troy used to go, "Oh, stop that bloody dog!" And then we went and met the dog, and the owner was there one day, and we said, "What's the dog's name?" He said, "Oh, Rigby Horatio." We went there.
Great.
Yeah. And we said, "Will he bite us?" Because he's so scary. Like if you get down close to him.
He has the biggest bark I have ever heard in my life.
And he said, as long as you don't climb the fence, he's fine. Now we adore him. And every time he barks, Troy goes, "Rigby." So he's rewired. It seems like a little thing, but think about
the reaction.
If Rigby was barking 20 times a day, Troy was having the reaction 20 times a day. Shut up, stupid dog. You know, someone needs to look after that dog better. Now he's like, "Hey, it's my friend Rigby."
Saying hello.
Yeah, and when we go out for a walk, he comes to the fence now and expects pats from both of us. And, you know, we can reach through and the big vicious guard dog's like, "Oh, pat me, pat me."
But that's just reframing, right? And that's what that's kind of come full circle, that with those two stories, the stories we tell ourselves, "Oh, I don't like dogs."
Yeah.
Or "I love," whatever that is. We've got to question the logic constantly of those stories and start creating stories that just make us feel better.
Yeah, which takes a bit of effort, and a lot of people are really resistant to, because they think that they're telling themselves good stories, and we all have negative stories that we tell ourselves. So it's identifying them and then being willing to try something new.
And it's amazing how many of those stories really do shape your experience. Like, again, this is probably going to sound like a very nuanced kind of thing, but I believe that I am the kind of person that gets a car park. I am the kind of person who rolls up out in front of the cafe and someone will be leaving that spot for me. And I get a car park everywhere that I go because I genuinely believe I'm going to get a car park. And Nathan and I used to fight about it. Like it was one of those things that, like you guys in the underwear, us in the parking, because Nath would not even get close enough to the venue or to where we were going because he didn't believe we were going to get a park. Because I adamantly had certainty and believed that we would get a Rockstar car park out the front. And now he's on board. Now he understands this belief and skill that I have, this manifestation power. A little bit woo-woo, I know that. But I believe it. And I believe that about myself, and it shapes my experience in this world.
Totally. And that's a story you tell yourself. And also those stories that we're telling others become the stories that we tell ourselves. So we've got to be careful what comes out of the mouth as well as what goes on in the head.
And as you get older too, you've experienced more knocks, more, a
There's
lot
more
more
challenge.
has gone on. You've gone through a lot more loss. So it's really easy for that to
Permeate.
accumulate. You can start out quite positive and believing in all of the wondrous natures of the universe. And then you get a few knocks and it can take it away from you. So you've got to continually come back into that place. And I think if you're thinking you're a rock star for getting a car park, translate that into more areas of your life. Yes. How do I live a rock star life now? So each kind of belief is escalating and elevating and giving me something more. Although having said that, I love more, but I'm just at this moment of my life realizing that less is okay too. That sometimes just being grateful for the next breath is a very beautiful experience. And I realize how disconnected I think we can get from nature, from our world, and from ourselves. And so I'm just, again, at the start of a journey. And as you can hear, I talk a lot. I'm at the start of a journey of learning to shut up, which
That's so ironic.
it's not working. But I'm noticing those pockets of learning.
Well, you can't shut up on a podcast.
No, that's
Yeah.
No,
That's what you're here for.
Yeah.
But I think it was someone's probably said it before, Tim Ferriss, but it landed when Tim Ferriss said it, that one of the ways that you can feel wealthier is to either earn more or desire less.
Yeah.
And that idea of like, if I desire to fly first class everywhere that I go, then I have to earn more to fulfill that desire. Whereas if I don't ever decide that I want that, I don't have to do the things to generate that revenue or that money to do that. So that's kind of that gap of like, do you actually really want more, or could you reassess what it is that you're desiring? Not to say that desire is wrong and that we shouldn't stretch for things, but just to be really conscious about what it is that you desire. Is that important to me? And am I willing to make that exchange for that thing?
So true.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the shops on any weekend in any capital city in Australia or probably the world, and it'll be packed.
With people schlepping their way around.
Yeah, it'll be packed with people going,
spending money they don't have.
Yeah, I now have to go back to work next week and make sure that I can pay all this off. And it's just this cycle of consumerism. And you've got to break the cycle at some point and realize that you have enough. Whatever you've got for now is enough. And which brings me beautifully
Why we got the hat.
to our little book that we're so immensely
We'll send you guys a
proud of.
copy.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So for the auditory, Zara's holding up a beautiful orange book that says, "What is enough?" And it's got a cute character right in the middle, jumping for joy.
Jumping
right.
for joy with a happy face.
So it's a kid's book for grown-ups, and it's written in the style of Dr. Seuss, and it's one of those ones that you put on the shelf, and when a friend, a parent, a colleague, a family member, yourself need to be reminded that you are enough and that you have enough, you pick up this little book that's all about this tribe of space critters called Nuff. So there's good enough, smart enough, cute enough, buff
I
enough,
love this.
wise enough.
It's really great.
And it reminds you, in fact, that you are the author of your own story, and you can write it and rewrite it every day, and in fact, every minute of every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and that book, actually, the character there became a children's animated series, which we created, and that was seen in 90 countries and more than 16 languages, which was just awesome.
Yeah.
How cool.
amazing.
So go forth.
Very cool. We share that story at conferences, and it's such a beautiful experience for two reasons. First time we shared it, I recite it, and we've got the pictures behind us.
Takes about 10 minutes,
Yeah.
so it's an easy read.
Whole bunch of people walked up afterwards with money in their hands and said, "I need some now." And I don't just one. Can I get one for my girlfriend? Can I get one for my father? Can I get one for my son?
That was a great experience.
I love that. That was really exciting.
That was cool.
But we give away, for every one we sell, we give one away.
Yeah.
So, and we give it to hospitals, to anyone that needs one. In fact, we gave a box to somebody yesterday because we went, we trust you, just give them to people that you know need to hear this message right now. But it's really cool. And at one conference, you might want to get that,
we'll
Troy.
get it. I will get
One
it for you.
conference, this amazing lady, Cindy, said, "I love that story so much." She read it at the last conference, that I wanted to do something for you. And she gave us
Zara's holding up a stuffed toy that someone's made that looks like the character on the book, front cover of the book. It's so cute. It's got big googly eyes and fluffy and gangly arms and legs.
He is weighty, he's furry, he's got 3 fingers on either hand, but that's enough for enough. They don't care.
Yeah.
Enoughs are happy all the time. They know how to feel good. But this gift, I cried. Like, she had it to me in a bag, and I pulled it out, and I've never received a more precious gift.
And what's amazing is
Oh my God.
she'd waited a year from one conference to the next, because we worked with that client over about 8 years doing their conference. She waited a year to, make.
Wow.
By the way, she also made a backpack, a handbag out of enough. I've got a couple of little ones now.
She's now your queen of merch.
We are.
She's doing your samples.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So stories can have a traveling effect, and they stay with you. And she said to me that when she was at school, she never felt like she was enough. And in fact, her story was she did a spelling bee when she was a kid. She was asked to spell enough. That's right. Asked to spell enough. And she spelt it the way we do, Nuff, instead of, the correct way. She was ridiculed, felt awful, and made that story the story that she hung on for the rest of her life, which was she was dumb.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough. I'm not clever enough.
That's right. Yeah.
So comedy's been such a massive part of your life and your career. So how is that translated across into your relationship? Is it just as much a part of your relationship as is your professional careers?
Yeah, I think we laugh. We probably laugh more inappropriately privately than we get to with corporate groups. But we do laugh a lot, and it's always been a cornerstone of how we get on and how we relate.
Yeah. We're pretty direct.
Yeah.
There's
For better or for worse.
Yeah, and I think we laugh easily.
Yeah, we do.
I think there wouldn't be a day where we wouldn't laugh at something together.
Heartily, yeah.
But it's also conscious. Like our wedding vows, I think I stumbled.
You did.
I
You
stumbled.
did. So we had a very well-produced wedding, as you can imagine. So 3 different settings. We had an audio engineer, a voiceover artist, 3 audio setups.
We had T-shirts,
We
cast and crew.
we had a pyrotechnic team. We had a lot of things going on. But we very carefully scripted our vows, and Zara stumbled, which is very rare in the vows, but added in a line about humour.
Yeah, that's right. Because I lost my words, and I went and
Everyone laughed.
good humour will be our life, and it was an accident, and it
Happy
was
accident.
a happy accident. Because we believe that if you develop your sense of humour and you can get that perspective in your life, if you can joke, you can cope, right?
Yeah, with the heavy stuff as well.
So it's something, and I think we live in a very serious world. The TEDx talk that I did was the epidemic of over-seriousness, and that was pre-COVID. It's a while back now. But back then we were living in a very serious world. The more that we can kind of lighten up in ourselves, the more we can bring it out of others, the more we can have meaningful conversations, the more we can build the relationships, the more that maybe we can solve all the world's problems, including war and what we need to do for climate change. But it all comes down to a great conversation with another human being and then doing something about it.
Yeah.
And much like what we believe, like with those good conversations, you build a better relationship. And with better relationships, we build a better world. So thank you so much for that. But what I would love to know though, is what does fun and play look like in your relationship? And what are some of the maybe habits or practices that you've got? Maybe might help other people get the ball rolling of we step into love and relationships and then we kind of move in together. And then there is an element of being an adult and managing your life, your career, your household, your logistics of just getting through the day or the week. And then I think that it's quite common that fun and play and intentionality sort of falls away. So I'm curious about what are the practices or habits you've built so that doesn't happen.
Well, you think I've been drinking coffee throughout. It's
11 on a Saturday.
That's right. It's 11 a.m. somewhere. And
Mimosa hour.
Yeah, that's it.
exactly. So definitely helps. No, it's not that.
No.
But look, it's an excellent point that you raise. Life gets very serious. So we have to choose each day to look at the lighter side of things, to celebrate and feel grateful for the little things. I don't know if we've got good answers for this. For us, staying happy and ridiculous is centered around our cats because they make us happy every day. So if you've got something furry around you,
that you can stick your face in and go, rah, 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 rah.
just stick your face in. So as many times a day. In fact, the times that I don't, when I'm just at the computer and I'm coaching and I don't give myself a kiddie break, I know I'm not as good. I'm not as good. I'm not as present, and I'm not as happy.
Lets the steam off, I guess. And for us, I think together, one that we probably have let slide a little bit. Normally, we've got a game of chess going.
Oh, yes.
So I was a chess player right through school and taught Zara how to play chess.
Yep.
And now she's as good as me, which is to say, not very.
That's right. And we do. we're evenly matched.
Yeah, we are.
We've always got a game set up.
Yep.
So behind this lounge room there's always a game. And we believe that couples that play together stay together.
And you got to be careful how you phrase that, though. Different things to different people.
People.
Yeah, exactly. It might work in both senses. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And so, I think we just
We have a real commitment to wherever possible staying as lighthearted as possible, and also being focused on each other and just caring. I think genuine care.
Yeah, and learning. So the podcast, we once a day listen to a podcast together. Sometimes in fact, mostly it's a hilarious podcast. So it's something where you learn.
We go for comedy.
Yeah, where you love the guests, you love like your show. Yeah, so you tune in every day because you know you're going to be lifted up. You're going to have a great conversation.
You're going to get something out of it,
and you're going to learn something. You're going to go, how interesting. So they overreacted to that situation. What's a better way to do that? And we always discuss it. So we learn, that's Rigby in the background. Can you hear him?
Yeah. Hey, Rigby.
Yeah, I could hear. Yeah,
That's the dog. That's it. Yeah. Oh, he's still smiling.
perfect timing.
Yeah. Hey, Rigby.
So I really love this. So I've got it actually on the wall next to me, but the purpose of my life is to be my playful self, enjoy this planet, and do work that matters for myself and others. And I really, really do believe, like, I enjoy being playful. I enjoy being a bit silly. I enjoy, like, I don't know, I don't really care what people think. Like, if there's a great song playing in the supermarket, like, I'm dancing.
Yeah,
like, and Nate is a bit more uptight than I am. And I enjoy embarrassing him. And that kind of makes it a bit more fun for me, honestly. But yeah, I'm big on turning everyday interactions into something that is playful or is a game. Like, one that is silly one. I don't even know how this started, but like when we're waiting at the baggage carousel to collect our stuff, Nath will take a punt at how many bags it will be before ours comes out, and and I'll have a guess. And then all of a sudden, like, this boring interaction of waiting for our bags is this fun and exciting moment of like, oh my gosh, my number's about to come up. Is it going to land? And the amount of times that I've guessed the exact number is like, whoa.
Someone's listening to this right now and going, gamification at the baggage carousel.
Yeah.
It's about time someone did.
Yeah, but I mean, it's everything. It's like checking out at the supermarket, like which one of us can guess. It's not, it's not a real competition. We're just having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a play.
That's beautiful. And I love that your affirmation, nearly knocked my water over. I love that your affirmation starts with you. In fact, because I think that it's easy to be altruistic and make your life about others, which I think we did for a long time. And in some ways it builds you, and in some ways it can deplete you if you're not putting yourself and your needs front and center. And so to say that it's about you and it's about you being playful is a really powerful intention for your day, for your life, first and foremost, because if you're playful, you have got objectivity. So when the things do go wrong, and there will be a problem du jour, a problem every day, you're coming back to your mission statement of, it's about me and being playful and then helping others. So you're always grounded. It's very smart, very smart.
For me, it's about, I feel like the more authentic I can be, the truest, this sounds so woo-woo, right? The truest version that I can be of myself, the most authentic version, where I'm doing things where I'm truly in joy and not like performing joy or not doing things that I think should be joyful, but truly do bring me joy. I believe that I will be a better person. I am more valuable to this world and my relationship, and to show up on this podcast and share conversations about relationships and all of those things. And I think if I'm not authentic in that performance would be tiring. And it wouldn't be a sustainable thing to do.
Well, that's wise. The fact that you know that, so young as well, is just testament to your wisdom. You're right. So if you kind of plant yourself in the earth, metaphorically, and you let the earth kind of be your support, means you can sway, you can move as the world kind of pushes you and you push back, but you've always got some kind of a grounding.
The goal is, I guess, sort of some level of emotional and psychological flexibility, because that's
right.
all that, resilience long term and what great partnerships are founded on.
Exactly.
Troy and Zara, thank you so much for joining us. To say thank you, we have made a contribution to a rainforest protection project that endeavours to take care of the Daintree rainforest here in Australia. That has been made possible via our partnership with Buy One, Give One, and we can't thank you enough for making that possible.
If people have loved this conversation and they want to learn a little bit more about you or what you do, where can they find you?
Okay, we are at GR8Talk on Insta, Facebook and Twitter, and the website is greattalk.com.au.
Spelled properly, GREAT
T-A-L-K.
talk. And again, we believe one great talk is all it takes to change the world.
Yeah, amazing. And can they get your book there as well?
Yeah, totally. Whatisenough.com is the book.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you. What a lovely conversation. And thank you for doing this gorgeous podcast. That I'm sure there's something from every conversation that you are able to apply to your own lives. So thank you for being gorgeous hosts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks heaps for joining us. If you love what we're doing here and want more, subscribe to the Date Forever podcast to make sure you never miss an ep. Come and hang out with us and other awesome couples who are fueling up their relationships in the Thriving Couples Collective Facebook group, or check us out at fuelcollective.com.au. Until next time, keep on dating, because better relationships equal a better world.